Hello everyone, Charles Watts here, the Arsenal correspondent at Goal, joining you on Tuesday. I hope all is well as we start gearing up towards that big game against Manchester City on Friday in the FA Cup. I'll be heading to London Colney tomorrow for Mikel Arteta's press conference ahead of that one, so keep your eyes peeled for all the usual stuff from there. We'll get updates, I'm sure, on Mikel Arteta. The big question mark, what's he going to do in that game? How strong is he going to go? I'll speak about that in a video I'll probably do tomorrow, looking further ahead to this game. But just a little bit of a spoiler, I certainly think he should go strong in this one. I'm not sure of the wisdom of rotating too much for this one, but as I said, I'll talk about that more in a video later on in the week. Before I get into things today, I just want to say a big thank you. I noticed yesterday that I've gone over 80,000 subscribers, so thank you very much for all the support you've always given me on this channel. It's mad to think that how much it's grown, that I've got 80,000. Remember, I was sitting in Greece. It was before Arsenal versus Olympiacos, and I was sitting in Greece one morning, the day of the game, I think it was. And Sam Dean, who is does the Arsenal stuff for the Telegraph, I was having breakfast with him, and he said, you should start a YouTube channel. I reckon it'd do pretty well. You've got quite a strong following on social media. I reckon you do pretty well with it. I was like, I don't know. Then I came home from Greece, set it up the next morning, and unbelievable to see how far it's grown. So thank you very much anyway, and I'll continue to do my best to keep you updated and discuss all things Arsenal on here in the future as well. So let's start, shall we? New signing announced late last night. Jakub Kiwior finally announced and confirmed by Arsenal. I mean, it wasn't a secret, was it? We all knew it was happening. We knew it was there. He was at the game on Sunday. Everyone saw him, and Arsenal finally confirmed the news. Deal probably going to end up costing about 20 million quid, slightly less than that initial fee. I think around the sort of 17.5 million pound mark initially, with add-ons to come from that. Left-sided centre-back, 22, fits the age profile of Arsenal. Talented on the ball, good passer of the ball, and certainly comes in as providing really much-needed cover for Gabriel as the left-sided centre-back position Mikel Arteta wanted to strengthen. I have to admit, I didn't think they'd do it this January. I thought they'd strengthen that position in the summer, but they've gone early, whether that's a result of missing out on Mudryk, so they had a little bit more money to play with this January, that they thought, we'll bring it forward and get him signed now, or they were just a little bit worried that other clubs who were interested in him might sort of jump the queue and try and grab him now. So I thought, let's just get him done before anyone else can have him, because likes at AC Milan, Juventus were on his trail after his good performances this season over in Serie A for Spezia. So let's have a look at what people have had to say. First of all, Edu said, we're delighted to have completed the signing of Jakub. He's a young talent who we've been monitoring for a while now. We're looking forward to working with him, seeing his continued development. Mikel Arteta said it's great that Jakub is joining us. He's a young, versatile defender. He's shown huge potential and qualities in Serie A and also at international level with Poland. He's a player who will give us strength and quality to our defensive unit. We welcome Jakub to the Arsenal family. He talks there about being a versatile defender, and pretty much every signing Arsenal make now seems to be, these are versatile players. They can play in a few positions. You look at Leandro Trossard, for example, who came in earlier this month, where he can play anywhere across the front line. And with Jakub, yes, he's left-footed, but he can play as a left-sided centre-back in a 3, he can play as a 2, he can play as a left-back, he can potentially play as a defensive midfielder as well. So it brings a real sort of sense of versatility to the Arsenal squad, can play in a few positions. That's clearly something that the recruitment team are targeting when they're doing all their analysis and for ahead of these signings. And Jakub himself has been talking about the move, understandably very, very happy. He's taken the number 15 shirt at Arsenal. This is what he had to say. I've always dreamt of playing in the Premier League. I knew it wouldn't be easy, and if I got the chance, then I knew I'd have to make the most of it, because it was one of my biggest dreams. For me, it's the best league. I'm thrilled to be here. He then was asked about Arsenal and what it was like when he heard they were interested. He said, it's huge for me that Arsenal were interested and that I'm able to be here now. I'm aware that Arsenal are a massive club in the top league, so I didn't really have to think about much else. I was just ecstatic and really wanted to come. I love passing the ball. I like teams that move the ball and try to create chances that way. So I'm happy that I've come to a team like that. Obviously, he's a Polish international. You knew Wojciech Szczesny. Said he hadn't spoke to Wojciech about the move to Arsenal. He had spoken to Christian Bielik, though, of course, former Arsenal player, who had told him to good luck, get the deal done. And they had a bit of a few text messages about the move. Going to be interesting to see how much he plays over the second half of the season. Is this going to be used as a sort of bedding in period for him? Maybe get the odd minute here or there and just let him adjust pretty quietly and comfortably ahead of next season, where he can really try and hit the ground running. Might well be what Arsenal have decided to do by bringing him in this January, but it's big money, so I'm sure they will look to play him if they can, maybe in the Europa League early stages, to bed him. But coming in to the Premier League for the first time in your career, right in the middle of a title race, with the intensity that's going to come from this second half of the season, it's not an easy time to adjust and acclimatise to your new surroundings. So if Arsenal are going to end up using him, then he's going to have to be bang on it, because he just can't afford to make any mistakes at the moment, because the stakes are so high given what the position that Arsenal have got himself in. But excellent addition nonetheless, or it looks like an excellent addition nonetheless. I'm far from an expert when it comes to him. But it just adds some real strength to an area that needed strengthening. And I think that's the key thing from so far from the January moves that Arsenal have done. The two of them, both were real positions that they needed to bring in cover for and to strengthen, and they've done that now. And I think we all saw that the difference that Leandro Trossard made in that game against Manchester United. He only came on for 10 minutes, but he made a big impact, and he just showed having that option off the bench, which maybe you wouldn't have had before. It's easy to say that, obviously it's hypothetical, but you could look at how that game panned out in the last 10 minutes, thinking if Arsenal hadn't brought Trossard on, they wouldn't have won the game, because he did have an impact in the third goal. And that's the difference. When you've got that sort of option, you've got that strength in depth, you can change games off the bench. It's what Manchester City have been doing for so long. If things aren't going on their way, Pep just looks to his left, looks at the bench, throws on 3 or 4 top players, and they can go on and make the difference. And maybe that's the thing that Arsenal haven't had. But now, with these couple of additions, they're starting to look a lot stronger, and Mikel's got a lot more options to work with. So, yeah, good news that Arsenal got that one done. And so far, so good when it comes to the January transfer window. Ivan Fresneda still, nothing's really seems to have moved on with him. Still waiting on what his decision is going to be, on what his next club's going to be. We know that Arsenal are in the running for him, the young right back from Valladolid, and other clubs as well, Borussia Dortmund especially, by the looks of it. And it's just a case of sort of waiting to see what decision he's going to make. But as I said in previous videos, if this one does happen and Arsenal do get the green light from him to finalise this move with Valladolid, then I can't see it being one for this season. I think, certainly by all accounts from people you speak to in Spain, that this would be a loan back for the season, rest of the season, and then have a look at the summer. So it'd be very much be kind of one for the future. And Arsenal are well stocked at right back. It's not really an issue right now, is it? You've got Ben White, you've got Tomiyasu. So he's very much one for the future. It wouldn't be a sort of signing that's coming in to really make an impact on the title bid or anything like that. Okay, so elsewhere, Granit Xhaka, what a season, what a story, and now he's been given the award of Switzerland Player of the Year for 2022. Fantastic achievement for him. Obviously, a very proud moment for him, and I wouldn't put it past it being the only Player of the Season award or Player of the Year award he wins in this year, because I think he's got to be right up there when it comes to Arsenal Player of the Season. He's going to be in the mix, no doubt about it. There's going to be plenty of options for Arsenal fans to vote for when this season eventually does finish. But I mean, the performances Xhaka's put in, the numbers that he's producing now, attacking wise as well, another assist at the weekend for Nketiah's first goal. He just continues to write his own redemption story, doesn't he? And he's such a key and integral part of this side that he's going to be well up there when it comes to Player of the Season for Arsenal. But we'll see what happens in the next few months. Lots of football to play, and but congratulations to Granit on winning that award, which I'm sure he's very, very proud with. Martin Odegaard. I spoke to Martin Odegaard after the game on Sunday. A few of us were down in the mix zone and had the opportunity to speak to Odegaard after the win against Manchester United. Spoke about a lot of stuff. I put a piece out yesterday with him that went on Goal. If you haven't seen it, it's on my social channels, so you can find it on Goal as well. He talked about things from, obviously the win against Manchester United, the impact that some of the new signings have made. He talked about Arteta and the sort of how he's a driving force behind everything. It's what he had to say about, kind of what the difference is this season. And he puts it down, and so many players talk about this when you speak to them after games, and, what is the difference? What's the ingredient? What's changed this season? So many point to this. The standards in training are unbelievable. Everybody has to be so sharp every day. That's where we set the standard. Every day we come in and work hard, and we only want the best from everyone. Now you can see that in the game as well. I think that's such a massive thing. The training, the standards at London Colney, what the players do on a daily basis, what Arteta demands from them on a daily basis. That is something that I think when he's built this squad and he's got players out that he didn't want around at London Colney, he didn't want training, who perhaps weren't ready to put in, the intensity in the sessions that he absolutely demanded. I think now he's got rid of all those players and he's just packed a squad full of the players he wants. He's getting the levels he wants in training, and I think that is what we're seeing so different on the pitch, because it's not one person, it's not just Odegaard saying that. So many of the players we've spoken to this season just all point to the standards in training and just how intense it is, and how much they believe that is playing a huge part in the performances on the pitch. And I just do think a lot of that will be down to the players that Arteta has now. Perhaps the players he used to have weren't really willing to commit every single day to playing with the type of intensity that they do now. But this group of players, you put a Martinelli on the training ground, a Saka on the training ground, those sort of players, they are all on it every single day in Odegaard. And I think that's such a key difference. He also spoke a lot about the January transfer window and the signings. He said, look, quality players like Trossard, I think they will really help the team. He can play many different positions, and you saw his quality straight away against Manchester United. He will definitely help the team. We're happy to have him on board in the Arsenal family. And I think that makes a big difference for players as well. I think fans, everyone always gets excited about January windows, January transfer windows or summer transfer windows. You want to see a shiny new signing come through the door. But I think for the players who are actually in the squad as well, they will look around sometimes and think, God, we could do with a couple more here just to give us a little bit more strength. And the boost that they get at this stage of the season when they see a player, and not just any player, but a really good quality player who can make the difference come through and they can turn to them in the change room and see them there, I think it just makes a big boost to morale, raises spirits. And I think the additions of Trossard and hopefully Kiwior will do that. And whether Arsenal do anything more between now and the end of the window, we shall wait and see. We're exactly 1 week away now from the January window closing. That's it. Thank you very much for listening once again, everyone. And as I said at the start of the video, thank you so much for your support on this channel. 80,000 subscribers. I can't quite believe it. But have a great day, everyone. I'll speak to you soon.